undergoing this course, actually there are no skill sets required, but it is good if you have any basic knowledge of programming language. So this is basically optional one. It is not required at all, but it is good if you have a knowledge of programming language for undergoing this particular course. Let's see further. Now, what are we going to learn in this particular Dart beginner level course? First is we would undergo what is Dart overview. So what is basically Dart programming language? Why do we use it? How do we use it? And what are things that we can do inside Dart programming is what we would look at in the overview part of this course. Then we would go ahead with the syntax and the keywords which are there in Dart programming. As you all understand that if you have any programming language, it means it has certain proper syntaxes of its own. It has particular keywords which you should know what they are used for and how they are used for. So we would be undergoing that particular part in the syntaxes and the keywords part. Then we would move ahead with how to create variables, what are variables, how to store values in variables, along with different types of data types which are available in your Dart programming. And finally, we would complete this particular beginner level with operators and constants. So what is this operators? How do we use them? What are the different types of operators available in Dart programming? Also, what do you understand by constants? How do you use them? And how do you create programs using operators and constants? This is what we would be looking at in the operators and the constant part of this beginner level course. Let us proceed further and understand if there are any course requirements or prerequisites. As discussed earlier, there are actually no requirements, but it is good if you have a basic knowledge of any programming language. It could be any language starting from C, C++, C#, J#, or whatever languages you are familiar with. Now, let's move ahead and understand who is our target audience for this course. Now, they are any professionals who want to learn Dart programming. It is not required that they should have some basic knowledge about it or should know what is Dart programming. Anyone who wants to learn something new or some new programming language which is Dart, then you can go ahead with this course. Similarly, any students who want to upgrade themselves to a new programming language, that is Dart programming. So let's proceed further and understand by the end of this course what is the skill sets that we are going to have. So first is we would be able to write programs on various Dart variables and constants. Also, we would be creating programs on operators and data types. So when we would be completing our course, you would be capable enough of creating any programs into variables, constants, operators, or data types. So with this, we'll conclude and we would start by going ahead with our first program in the Dart program. Now suppose we want to print multiple messages. So simply again we will use here a print command on the next line, and we are giving, say this is using multiple print functions. Again we will use one more print command and we'll give, so here we have printed 3 lines using the print function. Just a variation of what we have done earlier. We are using here 3 print commands and printing it. Now we would save this as second.dart. Don't forget to make here all files and then save it. Now we'll go back to our command prompt and we will execute here second.dart. So it is printing 3 lines of code. Now another option which we can use over here. What we would do is, let's create a new file. We are creating altogether a new file just for your reference so that it's easy for you to understand what is the variation that we are using it. Now here we are using, say this is also using multiple print functions. Now here we are using /n, again we are giving, but here we have used only one print command and we are printing 3 lines of code. And now here we are ending this. So we are going to save this as third.dart and let us try and execute it over here saying third.dart. What is the output? We have only used there one single print function. We have not used, unlike the second one, 3 different print functions. But only in the one print function we have given here or printed 3 different lines using this /n. Now this space is coming because after this we have given a space. So if we remove this, all would look similar. See. So this is also using multiple print functions. We have given /n. So /n basically acts like if you close this function by giving a semicolon, and again in the new line you open this print, write down this double quotation marks, and again write down the second line. So we are saving here those many functions instead of writing three different functions, put all together into one single print function, but segregate those using the /n, that is new line. /n replicates your new line command. Now there is another way in which you can also show this. We'll continue below. Say this is using the tab key and we are using here /t. Now here we have used the first tab key and /t again. Here we used it again. Now close this. We have saved this and again let's try and execute. See, now this tab key is something like you're having the tab key on your keyboard. Once you press a tab, it gives a space but a bigger space, unlike a normal space bar space. So you can use that also while creating or while giving some messages to the user using the Dart programming language. That is using your /t. So /t is basically for giving a tab and /n is basically for ending it and starting it on a new line. Now there is one more thing. In the first program we have seen the single line comment, which is this 2 backslashes. Now what if I want to write something here, say this program explains how to write new line and tab key in one single print, say print function. Now we continue below. It also explains about the multiple line comments in Dart, and this is an example of that. Now we have written these 3 lines of code and we don't want this to execute whenever our program debugs or gets compiled. One way is you write down everywhere this /, which means you're commenting it. But if you're having suppose 10 line of comments which you have written, it is very tedious for you to go on every line and put this comment. So what you can do is you can start this comment over here using this / and asterisk. And here you can end it by putting asterisk and /, which means whatever you have put inside this 2 opening and the closing comments is whole comment which you have put, which would not execute whenever your program would compile. If you want to check out, you save this, go back here and again execute. Output remains the same because this has not executed. Suppose you don't comment this, you give it as it is, save it and you try to execute. You get there a whole lot of errors because it is not understanding what is this text which you have written, because it is not having any syntaxes which should execute them. It is a simple text that you have written, and in the programming you have to use certain syntaxes to print certain things on the or to execute certain things on your command prompt. So for that, this is a comment, so you have to give here that which make understand the programmer or the interpreter that this 3 lines of code are nothing but the comments in your Dart programming, which would basically not execute. It is only for the programmer references that they have written. Something sort of notes which you are writing about what program you are creating. So that is about your multiple line comments. So this we call them as, suppose this / asterisk and asterisk /. We call these as the multiple line comments and we call this as single line comments. So if you just have one single line which you want to comment, put this. But if you are having more than one, it is better to use this instead of putting on individual lines these comments. It would work if you put on individual line this comment, but it is a very tedious job. To shorten that, we are using this multiple line comments option available there. Now, so we have understood the use of what is main, which is the entry point of the program, how to print certain messages using the print method. In print, we have used variations by using print multiple times or using in one single print, printing it on 3 different lines using /n, or using tabs by giving /t and printing it that way. And similarly, what are multiple line comments and what are single line comments. Now, we would also understand that if, suppose, you don't give this semicolon, we remove it, we save it, and we try to again execute. Again, we are getting an error. It is saying error expected semicolon after this, where Dart line number 2. So this is line number 1, this is line number 2. Over here, it says you have not, it's also giving there the position. This is 137th position where you was suppose the error is coming. So it is very accurate in giving you the line number and the position number on that particular line where the error is occurring. So it is easier for you to understand why the error has occurred, because it is not understanding that you are using this print method, but you are not ending this statement by giving a semicolon over here. And again using another print method. So for that, this statement has to end by giving a semicolon there. So every statement or every executable statement that you are creating has to end with a semicolon in that. That is very much important. It is basically mandatory, you can say, that you have to put a semicolon at the end of the executable statements. So otherwise you would get the compiler error. That is how we have seen some basics about starting with what is Dart and creating some sample examples on Dart. So now in the next session, we would go one step ahead and we would understand the syntaxes and some keywords which are already there, which you should be knowing because you are learning the programming language. So there are certain syntaxes given that you have to follow them while creating the programs in a particular programming language. So we would understand that in the next session, and then we would go on further with variables, data types, operators and concepts. So that's it from this particular session of understanding what is the Dart basics. Now we will create over here by creating first the main method. Now inside this we will create, now for creating variables, this is a keyword which is used for creating variable, where means now you are creating a variable. Now we are creating a variable which will store, say, first name. So this is the name of the variable that we are creating. So the specifications that we have seen or the rules that we have seen are for giving this name for this variable. And this is a keyword. So you cannot have a variable name with where as the name, because that is a keyword. So we are creating this first name or where first name, and we are assigning here a value. So let's give here name as Richa. Now unlike every statement end with a semicolon, so here also you will have to end the statement with a semicolon. Now we create another variable name, now that is last name, and here we give the value of last name, that is say Sharma. And now what we want to do is we want to print using the print method, say welcome, and here we will give we want to print here the value of first name variable. So here we are using this dollar sign, curly bracket, and putting the variable name as it is that we have created there. Say welcome Richa, and we want a space there, so we give a space. Again we use dollar and we print the value of last name, and here again we put say welcome Richa Sharma, say to Dart program. So we basically want to combine the text, and along with the text we want to also put the value of the variable which we have created, that is first name and last name, and along with that we want to print it on the command prompt. So now let us save this, and we will save it by the name. Say let's give p1.dart all files, and now we'll go to the command prompt here. We'll write down p1.dart. It says welcome Richa Sharma to Dart program. So whatever name you have stored in the first name gets printed here, whatever value you stored in the last name gets printed here, and since we have given here a space, the space is coming. If you don't put the space will not come. Suppose we don't put here, let us save it and again execute it. See, now another thing, suppose you give here a space and now you try to execute. Now it is again coming, even though you have not given space here, but while storing the value you have given a space and then you have ended the double quotation mark. But this is not the right way of doing it, so it is better we put it like this and see the output. What if you want to print some multiple statements over here and print the values individually? Say for example, let us create a new one. So we'll go for find new, we'll create void main, and inside this we will create, so now let's use f name. Again we give here the same name Richa, and where L name, and we use here Sharma, and now we use a print command. We say welcome to Dart programming. We use here say your first name is, and now we print here dollar f name, and then we again give your last name is, we give here say N. That is how we want to print it. Let us save it as p2.dart, and now let's try and execute this p2.dart. It prints welcome to Dart programming, your first name is Richa, your last name is Sharma. Another way in which we can print the output, it totally depends on you, how do you wish to give the output to the end users. So now let us create another program, and over here we will create a program which will have some more variables. Only apart from first name, last name, we would create say a name variable. We would create a variable which will accept or which will store the value for each. Also the department name in which the employee is working, or let's take employee name, employee age, and employee department, and then we would store the values and we would print the values and display it to the end user. So here we would start with void main, and we would create variable, and that is say emp name. Now here we are storing the name of the variable, say John Carter. We store here say emp age. We give here a value of age in the numeric. So it would be any value or any variable which you are creating. It may store a value of type string or numbers, whatever you wish to store there. Similarly, let's create one more variable, say salary, and let's store here the value of salary also. Then we create here the value of say department name and we put this person in the accounts department. Now we issue some print command. We say welcome to ABC Corporation and we print here say your name is, we use here dollar and we put there EMP name, you are say dollar, EMP age, years old, comma, say your salary is dollar, it is EMP salary, and your department is dollar, department name. That is what we want to print on the next print statement. Let us save it as p3.dart and let's try to execute here p3.dart. It says welcome to ABC Corporation. Your name is John Carter. You are 35 years old. Your salary is 35,000 and your department is accounts department. So it's very much simple. You create variables whichever you wish to create. Give names proper as per discussed in the rules which are applicable for identifying your identifier names. Then store the appropriate values in the variables and you can print them in whichever order you wish to. You can print them all together into one or print them separately. You can also use your come on a new line, the salary is 35,000 and the department is accounts department. So it's totally up to you how do you create the print statements using whatever commands we have learned or creating multiple print statements in that particular case. Then we go for the next key as department 2 and here we assign the value as say IT. Then again we create here department 3 and then again we give here a value and that is say administration. This is how we can create here a key and a value pair which you can store the values there. Now the next type of variable that we have, now this is basically used to store some Unicode code unit. Okay, it could be a 32-bit Unicode value which can store. Now for example, we can basically use that, say we create here a variable saying where and say laugh emoji and to store a smiley character. We use there to store a smiley character this 2 times or question mark. That is basically used to represent a smiley emoji. So storing something like that, you can use this variable data type that is rings data type. Similarly, if you want to store some symbol there, then you can use there a variable or you can refer that particular object, create the operator by using the declaration using a hash and followed by the identifier name. Or for that matter, we can use here say hash and create here say symbol 1, something like that. So we are creating there a value of type symbol. Now these are basically used if you want to use the APIs which refer to the identifiers by name. So there you can use this following type of data types. Now what we'll do is we'll create a particular program which would use all these variable types. We would store certain values and we would print those values using the print statement and then look at the output what it gives. So let's create a new file. Let's do one thing. Let's create another notepad and we would start here by creating the main method and in this we would first create say integer EMP age. We would give here a value say 49. We would create double EMP sal. We would give here a value say 40,000.00 just to identify that we are storing a double value there. Then for this we use EMP address and we store here some address say B then ABC apartment B then say XYZ Road Mumbai. That is where we store the address. Then we use here a EMP flag variable, store there 0. We create EMP list and we store there some values using a comma separated and in the square brackets. Then we create the employee department and we give there a key that is a department 1 and we give the value for this say accounts, comma, then we have department 2 and here we have say IT. Then here we have department 3 and here we are storing the value say administration. Then we create a where, say now emoji, we store there question mark. Symbol we don't create as of now, we just create all these variables. And now we simply in the print statement, we give here the variable names, that is we print emp age is, say dollar, and we print emp age. Now similar to this, we write down the other, say emp salary is, and the name of the variable is emp sal. Then we have emp address, and here we have the emp address is. Then we have emp flag is, say emp flag. Then we have the emp list, so here we put emp list is. And then we have emp department is, we print here emp department. And finally we have the emp log, we have the love emoji, and we print here the love emoji is. Fine enough. Now let us save this as p4 dot and let us try to execute it. Now before this we have some mistake here. We have to use here like this, say 1F600, that's the Unicode character. And here for this we will have to use true or false value. And then we will try to print those in the given print commands below. So let's go here and we will execute the before statement. Now this is not displayed because it's on the command prompt and the emoji won't be displayed, but it will display if you work on some separate IDE and you execute there, you would get the output easy. So rest of the values are coming correct. We have the age, we have the salary coming in the double, the whole address with the commas, the slash, everything is coming proper. Value of boolean is coming, the list values which you have stored, the map value which you have stored by giving a key and a value pair, and the emoji value which you have stored. You could get the list of these of all the symbol or the ruins type of values from the net, and then you can see executing those on a separate IDE instead of the normal command prompt. So that is where basically we have created variables and we have assigned values to the variables and we have printed those values back to the command prompt using this particular Dart program. Now let us start with the next part in this beginner level course, and now we would be using this WebStorm IDE application for creating our Dart projects. Till now we were using Notepad and we were trying executing those in command prompt. So there are two different ways in which we can do it. One is you can use the given IDEs, you can install them and directly create a Dart project and add on how many ever files you want to add and then just quickly run those and see the same command prompt. Or else another way is creating it on Notepad, saving those and then going to your command prompts and executing the files through command prompts, the one which we were doing till now. So now we would start using this WebStorm application, which is the current version of the WebStorm is installed. It is applicable on net. You can easily download that and start using it. So we would go for new project creation, and here if this Dart is not there, then you will have to install that by going in the configuration. So we will create the project in same E drive, Dart programs beginner, and the project name would be Dart first project. We'll have to give here the path of the SDK. It will by default pick up, but if it doesn't, then you will have to give the path. And we are selecting here the console application that we want to create. So then we can click on this create button, and it would take some time for creating the project, adding all the defaults file which it gives us, and one main Dart file. After that we can keep on adding Dart files and we can keep on executing n number of files from the project. There is no need of now shuffling between your Notepad and your command prompts. It is very much easy if you use this WebStorm application as such. So let it create the project and then we would see how to create our first file over here. So now it has created this, and you can just verify that if you go to bring this first Dart file, which is the same name as your project name. So now here we would start creating, and whenever you execute, you can see the command prompt is given below. Here only it would give you the output as such. So there is no shuffling between two different softwares for executing a single Dart application. Now what we would be doing is we will create a simple application or a project over here, wherein we will create to accept the name from the user. We will store that into the variable and we will print hello, welcome to Dart project, and we will print the value of name what has been inserted. So for that we will first have to use here another import statement, and here we will have to write down say Dart colon. Now this is by default file which is available. We are just using it over here, and dart.io. So we import this particular dart package, and now before we use this print command inside the main method, we will create a string variable, say emp. And now here we want to accept the value from the user. So we are going to say here emp name is equal to, say, standard in dot, we use here read line sync, and here we give dot, or we just use the same method read line sync. So the value would be accepted there. Now before we accept the value, we have to give a message to the user. So we use a print command here and we say please enter your name, and then we asked to accept the value of name here. And once we have done with that, then we again give a print command, say welcome, and here we want to print. So we will use here dollar in bracket the value of emp name, say this is our first Dart project. We will close this here. So that is how we have created a simple application. First one wherein we are accepting the name of the user and we are printing the same back to the console. Now before executing this, you can see there is it's not actually an error, it is just a warning. It is saying use a double quotes for string only containing single quotes. So now what we can do is we can just replace this string with the single quotation marks. So you can see that warning has been disabled. So before even executing your program, you can get to know if there are any errors over here. There is no need to execute the program and then find out where you have the errors, unlike you do it in Notepad. So this basically gives you all on the one shot. So now how we'll have to execute this, we will go to run here and we would say run, or the shortcut key for that is Alt Shift plus F10. So let us execute this, and it will only execute the file which is currently we have working on, or it will ask you over here. So you can just select the file which you want to execute, and that particular file would get debugged, it would get compiled, and then you would get to see the output after it has been successfully compiled. Now as there are no errors, file compiled properly, it asks me enter your name. So we enter here, say John C. We press enter, it says welcome John C. This is our first Dart project. Now suppose again you execute this, again it will execute, again it will ask your name. This time we enter, say Priyanka Sharma. Now it prints welcome Priyanka Sharma, this is our first Dart project. So now we are not giving any solid value for emp name in our program. What are we doing is we are keeping it dynamic. So we are accepting it from the user, storing that in the variable which we have created using the standard input.readline sync. Now the standard input, this particular class is available in this IO package, hence we will have to import this. For example, if I comment this, I am getting here an error. It is saying undefined name standard in, which means it is not able to find from where are you using this. So what is the option it is giving you over here? Import library dart.io. So hence I have commented this. Comment means it won't be executed. Hence it is giving me the error. But if I remove the comment, which means now I have imported this, so now the error would not be there. So if you want to accept something, or output means basically what, accepting something from the user and giving the output to the user. So for that you will have to use this dart::io package. So once you import that, you can save it in the variables and you can give the proper output to the user also. So this was a very simple one. Now what we would do is we will have to create another file. So let us create over here. Now we will right click on this bin and say new Dart file, and we will give here a name, say second file. Press enter. It will automatically create another file for us and give it to us. Okay. So now here again, first thing we will have to do is say here import dart::io, and after that we will create here void main, open the brackets, and in this now what we will do is we will create variables for accepting first name, last name, age, salary, and then we will print the values whatever the user has entered. So we will have to also take their double variable, integer variables and string variables. But there is a trick in doing this. So first what we will do is we will create string variables for emp fname, emp lname. Also we would take it for emp sal, emp age, and we will also take here integer variables for emp sal int. We will also take here a double variable, that is emp age int and emp sal double. Now what we would do is we would first give a print say please, let's say please enter your first name, and after that we will accept the value in fname by saying what, stdin dot readline sync. Now similarly we will give another message, say please enter last name, and then again we will end this with the semicolon, and now we will use EMP name, and again we will give standard in dot readline sync. Then we will give print say please enter age, and then we will save this first value in age, EMP age, which is of type string. By here we will be saying read line sync. But now once we have saved that of type string there, what we would do is we would do here EMP age int variable is equal to, we will say int dot pass, and we would put here EMP age. So now we are transferring the value of this string variable into integer variable by saying int dot pass. So accepting would be in string types, storing it in a string variable initially, and then passing it on to the integer variable by converting the value of the string type to integer. Similarly, the next thing we will have to do is we will say here please enter salary, and we will say here EMP sal is equal to stdin dot readline sync. Then we will give there again EMP sal double is equal to, again we will have to say now double dot pass value of EMP sal. So till this we have created the variables, we have accepted the values of the variables and stored the values in the variable whatever the user have entered. Now let's proceed further. So now what we would be doing is we'll have to print the values which are stored into our variables. So we will give here the print command saying say your first name is, and we print here dollar and the value of EMP fname. Then we give another print command and we say your last name is, we print here using dollar EMP name. Then we print say your age is colon dollar, and we print EMP age int variable here. Then we will give here a print command saying your salary is, and we print dollar and EMP sal double. So now let us execute this second file that we have created. So let's go for this, and it has executed the same first file itself. What we will do is go to run and we will run this. But now, one second. When we run this, it gives the second file dot. So now the second file is executing and asks your first name. Let's enter here, say Rashmi. Press enter. Last name, say Shah. We enter the age, say 40. We enter the salary, say 45,000. It gives us all the values back. Your first name is Rashmi, your last name is Shah, your age is 40, and your salary is 45,000.0 because this variable is of type double. So by default you will have a double precision inside your double variables, not for integer variables. Right? So there is a trick while accepting the values of integers and doubles, or for that matter apart from strings, you can enter the values using this parse method. So that is how we have created the second file, and now instead of giving some constant values over here or static values for the variables when we create those, now we can accept any value from the user, store them in the variables, and easily print or access those values back for the user as well. So this was very much simple as compared to what we have done in the last sessions, right? So the first thing what we would do is let us add here a new Dart file, and here we will name it say fourth file, and here also we will take void main, and we will take the where variables, say var1, var2. We will assign the values to var1 and we will assign the values to var2. Now instead of creating those many variables and storing the values in the variables and then issuing a print command, another simple statement would be, say here we are giving in single quote, we give here and say the addition is colon, and here we use $sign and we give var1 plus var2. This is a very simple one. You don't need to store the variables anywhere. So similarly here we will give the next, say the subtraction is, and we use dollar in bracket var1 minus var2. Close this here. Okay. The next thing we will give here the multiplication is colon dollar in bracket var1 multiplied by var2. Similarly, the next print command, the division is, and we'll use your dollar, say var1 divide by var2, and another division operator also we will see. So the second division is colon, use dollar var1 tilde sign slash var2, and then we will use the next one, the modulo is, and dollar var1 percentage var2. So now there is no need of creating those many variables and storing the values. Instead, directly we can do it over here. So now if we try and run this both file over here, output would be the same because there is no difference as such what we have done. Only thing the difference is what we have done over here is, instead of those many variables, we have saved our time and created a very short program in that case. So now the next thing that we would be doing is, we would be creating a program for accepting the value from the user and giving the appropriate result to the user. Okay, so let us create another new Dart file, and here we will name it, say, fifth file. Now here we will have to go for import Dart :io, because now we would require to accept the values from the user. So inside this we will create a variable, and let's take it var1 and var2. Now first thing is, we will give a message to the user, say please enter first number, and then whatever the user enters, we say here stdin.readLine_sync. Similarly, then next we will give a message, say please enter second number, and whatever the user enters, we say var2 is equal to stdin.readLine_sync. Then what do? We say here print, say the addition is, and we use here dollar in bracket var1 plus var2. Similarly, next we do the subtraction is, say var1 minus var2. Then we give the next print command, the multiplication is colon, and we print here var1 multiplied by var2. The next thing is, we will print the division is, and use here var1 divide by var2. Then let's also use the second division is, and we'll use again var1, but this time tilde sign slash division to be given. Next we will give the modulo is, and dollar, say var1 percentage var2. Let's save this subtraction. So now let's go to run and execute the fifth file now. So it is asking me the first number. Now let us enter the first number as 17, second number as, say, 20. Okay, some error over here. Addition. What we'll have to do is, we have accepted the values over here, but now what we will do is, we will take another variable, say var3 and var4, and after accepting this, we will do var3 is equal to, say, int dot parse, and we will give here var1. Then similarly here we will do var4 is equal to int dot parse var2. And now let us try and execute this, if this runs proper. Which one did we execute? Need to check. Fifth file we want to execute. Okay, this one. So we enter, say, 70, say 20. Still the addition it has given us, but it is not able to find out this. Alright, let's check out this. Mistake is, we'll have to make this of type integer, and while we are doing this over here, we are only doing it with var1, var2, so that doesn't make any sense. We will take this 3 and 4 here. So everywhere we will make this change quickly, and then we will try to execute this. Now it should not have any errors because now we have handled everything. So we have changed this, and now let's run this. Fifth 5. We enter 70, 30. See, we get the values. Addition of this is 100. Subtraction comes to 40. Multiplication comes to 2100. Division is coming in a recursive number. Second division, which is your normal, since now this is 2.3, it would by default make it to 2, and the modulo comes to 10. So that is how we get the values, accept it from the user and then do it. So this is another way, a proper way actually, because if you don't accept the value from the user, then nothing of creating such programs in that. So only if you have to give some static values and execute those doesn't make any sense. So this is how you could accept it from the user, and you could make it an interactive one, so that the user enters the value for which he wants to execute your particular program, and then accordingly the particular program gets executed. So that's it from this particular session, wherein we have seen one type of operator, which is your arithmetic operators. Now let us continue with the next type of operators that we have in Dart. So first of all, we will create here a Dart file, and let us create here, say, the file1 as the file name. And before actually creating a program, we would understand what are these operators first of all. So the next type of operator that we would be looking over here is the Dart assignment operators. Now when the word says assignment operator, okay, so assignment operator, normally in our minds we have is that is equal to sign, which is basically, say for example, we are creating a void main method, and here we are creating a variable and we are assigning here some value. So in this case, this is equal to is for us an assignment operator. But apart from just and simple is equal to sign, we also have various kind of assignment operators, and those are, for instance, we create another variable and here we want to say num1, or for that matter we give here num2 is equal to 40, and we say num2 is equal to num2 plus 50. So what are we doing here? We are trying to assign plus 40 plus 50 in the same variable num2. Now the same equation over here could be written as num2 plus is equal to 50, which means that this equation is equal to num2. It's equal to basically num2 is equal to num2 plus 50. So you write it in this particular manner or in this particular manner using the arithmetic assignment operator, that is plus is equal to. So only not just is equal to, but using an arithmetic operator with that is also making you another kind of operator, that is your assignment operator. So there are various kind of assignment operators, out of which first we have looked at a simple assignment operator, which is an is equal to sign. You also have here something like double question mark is equal to, which basically will assign a value in the variable which you have created only if you have the value as null, not other than that. Then we have the next assignment operator, as we have looked out, is add assignment operator. So it is add and is equal to. Now similar to add is equal to, we have also minus is equal to, which works something like num2 is equal to num2 minus 10, for example. Or we can write it num2 minus is equal to 10. Similar to subtract assignment operator, we also have multiply assignment operator. What else we would have? A divide assignment operator. So we would look at one example which would allow us to create all these or to use all these operators and create a particular program there. So let us start by creating this void main first of all, and the first thing that we would be doing is, now here we won't be accepting any value from the user. We would be creating variables, assigning the values in the same program and printing the result using the arithmetic assignment operators. So for that we will start by creating the variables first, saying say num1 and num2, and we will assign the values in num2, let's give say 50, in num1 let's give 50, and num2 let's give 40. Now we will first say num1 plus is equal to num2. So we are basically saying num1 is equal to num1 plus num2. So we want to add both the operators there. That is what we want to do. So after doing this, we will use a print command and we will say the value of say num1 plus is equal to num2 is colon, and here we will print dollar the value of num1, because that is what the value of num1 is now assigned to, right? Similarly, we will say num1 minus is equal to num2, and then again here we will issue a print command saying the value of num1 minus is equal to num2 is colon, and we'll print here the value of num1 again. Then we'll use num1. Now this time we're going to use multiply is equal to num2. And we're going to give here a print command in single quotes. We will say the value of num1 multiply is equal to num2 is, and here we'll print $num1. Then we will try and do num2 divide is equal to num2. And then we will try to print here in the print command the value of num1 using the division operator is equal to num2 is, and we'll print here the value of num1. And what remains? Num1 we say modulo is equal to num2. So we'll finally print this also, saying the value of num1 modulo is equal to num2 is, and print here $num1. So we are done with this code, a simple one where we are not accepting anything from the user, simply creating the variables, assigning values here, and trying to print the values using the print command. So we will try and execute this, and we will run this pfile1.dart, and let us see what is the output here. See, value of num1 plus is equal to num2 comes to 90 because 40 plus 50 comes to 90. Similarly, minus will come to, because now what are you doing? What was the earlier value of num1? Now it was 90. Now 90 minus, if you do 40, it will again become 50. So now the value in num1 is 50. Then we are trying to multiply 50 by 40. So that is comes to 2000. Then we try to divide it. So it comes back to 50. And then we try to get the modulo of it. It comes to 10. So you have to every time remember what is the value of num1, because num1 is what getting changed over here. Every time we try to use the arithmetic assignment operator over here. Now, just to make your concept clear, after we have printed this, we will, before that or rather, we will give here print command. Say the value of num1 is, print here num1, and value of num2 is, print here the value of num2. This we will do every time before we issue this print command, so that it is clear for us what is the actual value of num1 and then what is we are getting after executing it. So now let us try and debug this. See, now it is easy for you to understand. Value of num1 is 90, value of num2 is 40. Hence it is coming 90 here. Value of num1 is 50, value of num2 remains same, 40. So now if you try to do 90 minus 40, you are getting 50. Similarly, now you try to do 50 multiplied by 40, you get 2000. You try to divide this 2000 by 40, you get the value 50. You try to get the quotient of this, then you try to get the value as 10. That is how it is basically executing itself.